Crypto products are unregulated and could be highly volatile. Please be aware of the risks before investing.
राज, बाबूजी के आशीर्वाद से हमने अपनी नई शुरुआत तो कर ली, पर अपना फ्यूचर प्लान कैसे करें?
बड़े-बड़े शहरों में ऐसी छोटी-छोटी बातें होती रहती हैं।
Looking for perfect start? Get a Bitcoin today. Download the Unocoin app.
जब मैं तेरी उम्र का था ना, तो एक सक्सेसफुल करियर, लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग सब रेडी करके रख चुका था। और एक इन महाराज को देखो, पूरा दिन फोन में लगा रहेगा।
दैट प्लानिंग तो मैंने भी कर रखी है, Unocoin के साथ।
नए जमाने के साथ नई चीजें आजमाएं। Looking for Bitcoin? Download the Unocoin app.
Guys, we really need to work hard. This wasn't a good quarter. Tell me, are you happy with this?
Unocoin.
Want to earn Bitcoin? Just grab your phone and shake it. Download the Unocoin app.
Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin.
Get a systematic buying plan from the Unocoin app to get your Bitcoin today. Download the Unocoin app.
Hello dear Unocoiners and welcome back to another one of Unocoin's AMA session. So our today's AMA is on highly public demand because we here at Unocoin believe that it's very important to explain these complicated and hard to understand concepts to our users no matter how many times we have to do that. So our today's AMA is about the Indian crypto taxation policy because it's a lot of confusion since you all are going to pay your taxes, going to file it in the month of April as it is supposed to be. So to answer all your questions today, I would like you to introduce you to our subject matter expert of the day, Mr. Sathvik Vishwanath. I'm sure a lot of you already know him because he's the CEO and the co-founder of India's most trusted crypto exchange, Unocoin, which by the way is also the first of its kind. So, guys, a few quick things before we start off with our EMA today. Our comment section is open on all our platforms, which is Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So, no matter where you are watching this AMA from, you can just drop your questions in the comment section, and I'll do the job of conveying them to Sathvik for you. So, hi Sathvik, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Shabi. How are you doing?
I'm great. So, this is the first time our Indian citizens are going to pay some taxes on crypto. This is the first time we're going to file them. So, how is the feeling? How do you feel about this?
No, it's not like they're filing it for the first time. Uh, so the crypto trading and profits were always taxable anyway.
Yes.
But this is the first time where the rules are a little different,
Yes.
and in that explicit manner, in whatever the new rules are set out, people will be paying the taxes for the first time. Yeah. So, but that's good. That's. I mean, at the end, we being Indians, following the law of the land, etc., it's important that we pay our taxes,
Yes.
right? So, and in the similar manner here, there are some rules that the government has laid out for crypto, which is actually aggressive, harsh. I do agree, but there is some rules, and so for us to do the required trading and get profits in this particular industry, the taxes are a little bit steeper. So it has to be paid. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times people are so confused about these little things. What is 1% TDS? What is the 30% flat tax rate? So we'll start off with the questions here. Here, we are thinking if someone wants to know, if someone's like, just stepping into the crypto space and they do not know much about that. So how would you say that what are the tax regulations on crypto? How much do we have to pay and when?
See, there are actually two aspects that was newly introduced in the last financial year. So one is the TDS, the tax deduction at source, and one is the income tax.
True.
Okay. So when it comes to tax deduction at source, for a normal tax-paying citizen, whenever he exits a crypto position, for the amount at which he is exiting, the buyer has to hold 1% of the tax, and only pay the remaining 99% to the seller. And the buyer will have to deposit that 1% to the government as the tax deduction at source against the PAN card of the seller directly at the TDS portal. So first idea was this, but however, it becomes extremely complicated because now we are talking about the number of people, and this particular tax deduction, it becomes less trackable beyond a point. If you want to, because these kinds of trades are possible at maybe 100 rupees also, 1000 rupees also, 10 lakh rupees also, right? So if someone is buying 1000 rupees worth of cryptocurrency, it becomes extremely tedious to deduct the 10 rupees and do the required tax payments as TDS. This 1% TDS is not very new for people who have got involved with various other types of transactions, especially the real estate transaction, right? So there it clearly says if the land price is more than 50 lakh rupees or so, 1% TDS needs to be deducted and paid, so that the government have the information about who is doing the trading activity. And because 1% is fixed to be 1%, it's also easy for them to calculate the quantum. So if government is getting 10 rupees as TDS, then they know that the trade was for 1000 rupees. So in that way, it's easy to do it. So yeah, because this particular crypto transaction can happen in much smaller chunks. So the onus is now with the exchanges like us, Unocoin. So where we will have to deduct the 1% from the proceeds that the seller is supposed to get, and it will be paid against his or her PAN card. And this is not like an extra tax; it is just like a tax you have to pay in advance, right? So when they again eventually do the tax filing, if these tax that got deducted in advance is far greater,
Okay. Looks like there was a glitch, but not a problem. A lot of times, Sathvik, I've seen in a lot of cryptocurrency news firms, and maybe people or the companies who are like, a lot involved with crypto, they've proposed to pay their employees in crypto. So, how does that work? Like, if we are getting an income and we are already paying an income tax, do we also have to pay tax because the income is in crypto?
Not really. So here, I mean, I actually don't know much companies in India doing it. I
Yes.
definitely know a lot of international companies, especially the ones in this particular industry, do it. So the bonuses gets distributed in crypto. Sometimes even the salary, part of the salary. There are companies which will give an option for the employees. You can choose whether you want 25% of the salary or 50 or 100, and how much percent of the salary in crypto. So those kinds of companies do exist. So here, let's say even if something like that happens in India, though as far as the transaction is the first transaction is concerned, so the employer need to pay the employee, right? So how they pay is the second thing. So they may keep it pending also, which becomes a liability for the company. And if they pay in kind or cash in whatever manner. So whenever they choose to, I mean, if the employees choose to take the money in crypto, and if the employer is willing to pay, so this is just the mode in which the money is being paid, right? So here it is not like the employer got the benefit or the profit of crypto. It's not the profit in crypto. They just got the crypto instead of getting it in cash. It is as simple as that. So now comes, what will the employee do next? Let's say employer pays employee 10,000 rupees worth of Bitcoin. Okay. And for argument, like let's say one Bitcoin is 20 lakh rupees. So he got about so 0.005. So that is what he has initially received. And now comes if he sells it, right? So someday he may sell it. If he's selling it, let's say at that time the crypto price has become 1.2 times. So instead of 10,000 rupees, he got 12,000, right?
Yes.
So in that case, when he got the 10,000 rupees worth of Bitcoin, he would have paid the normal income tax already, whatever he is supposed to pay, irrespective of whether he gets that in rupees or Bitcoin. But whatever the gain that he got on top of it, now will become a crypto trading,
Crypto trading, yeah.
like
So
taxation
that's a gain
becomes,
in crypto.
yeah, it's gain crypto. So for that 2,000 rupees, they'll have to do the
Crypto
30%
30%.
taxation will come directly.
Okay, okay. So this is quite interesting because now to calculate all of those things will be another job for particular individuals.
Mhm.
So here we have a few questions. First, we have from Vedarth Kumar. Okay, nice name by the way. So he's asking why custodial fees. So our platform has introduced this newly, and I think our audience is very curious around to know what is this custodial fees about. So if you could just enlighten our audience.
Sure. See, the storage of crypto, and including providing the services, which again is a storage for services for storage of crypto, is not free. So it comes at a specific cost for the exchanges as well, or any kind of businesses whoever want to take these kinds of services. So in our case, we use company, I mean, whoever manages the hot wallets like BitGo and Fireblocks, and there are a few good, well-known companies in this particular industry who actually does this at institutional level, right? So, and it works in such a way that these companies cannot take away the money. So they will need the signatures that our servers are doing. So only then it'll work. But let's say if one day if they vanish, we still have a recourse technically to recover that. So like that, we would have done the required signature setup of
Yes.
how it's very similar to how, you know, let's say there is a bank account that has that needs 2 out of 3 signatures, right? So 2 exist with us and 1 exists with them, something like that, right? So they cannot do anything. They cannot do anything back to us. But if they run away, we have our 2 signatures to handle it. So as simple as that. So why I'm saying this is these comes at a specific cost. So different exchanges and companies have different ways of how they want to cover this particular costs, right? So some of them we have also seen, and I don't want to like explicitly tell the names here. It all can be googled. So where they have taken the exposure to do crypto trading using the funds that is held from customers. Sometimes they lend it out, right? So but if I start talking about the companies, it started, from like say 3 Arrows Capital all the way, like how
Yes.
Gemini got affected to how Genesis Trading got affected, and in India there is one well-known exchange as well that they got affected. So it has become like a dominoes effect, right? So that is a very bad way of doing the or dealing with the customer money, right? So it's not their own money. So a lot of times the customers don't even have the knowledge of it. So at the end of the day, the business has to support the service of custodying, right? So different exchanges takes different paths, thinking nothing will go wrong. But we at Unocoin have taken a stance that we don't want to take that path. Okay, so that is one thing. So and also when we are earning money from the customer, so where he is an active trader, this particular custody fees is not being charged. Okay, so a customer can just say, I want to pay 100 rupees worth of XRP and maybe sell it again also same day, right? So once if he does it a month, so he'll become our active customer, and there is no need to pay any kind of custodial fees. So the custodial fees also helps our customer to understand that it's better they hold the crypto themselves than with the exchange if they are not using it for trading, right? So there are customers who we have seen leaves it for like years together. So we definitely are not discouraging it, because it's a part of our business to provide the specific service. But yeah, there is always a method to avoid the custodial fees, but we definitely are required to charge it so that we continue providing that specific service, right? So and we also provide nomination facility for our customers. So let's say if something goes wrong and the customer, whoever dies for whatever reason, so the nomination that we hold on behalf of the customer will be eligible to claim that crypto and all those things, right? So we are more positioned to help our customers hold the crypto, not only now, for next years or decades to come, kind of thing. So, but it comes at a cost, and a part of the cost is actually passed on to our customers. The cost that is passed on to our customers is not the only cost; it's much higher. So the remaining is getting covered by the company.
Okay. So, guys, this is a very minimal cost to keep your cryptos safe, of course. And like Sathvik said, there are ways to avoid this particular charge. I understand that a lot of you are very upset with this, and
Yeah,
shock maker here. I understand your concern. You can write to us at support@unocoin with whatever issue that you're facing. I'm sure my team is going to get in touch with you as soon as they possibly can, or you can call us at our customer support number for your concerns. Okay, let's just see. We have a lot of questions. I lost track of questions here because there are so many.
sure.
So here Akash is having an interesting question. I was using a crypto exchange, but now crypto exchange has closed my account. Now, how do I
Wow,
pay crypto tax?
that's tricky.
Hmm.
Extremely tricky, I should say, because you neither can say that like a loss, saying that you lost the money, so it's the loss of the profit. The loss of the profit won't, or the loss itself won't offset your any other profit. So it's somehow important you get the statement of the trades that has happened there to calculate the profits in one or the other way. Um, so, but if not, then maybe you can check your emails and such, or SMS if you have received, your WhatsApp messages you would have received whenever you place the order, saying that it was successfully, the order placed, it was successfully completed and such. So using that, maybe you'll be able to construct some part of the transaction history. Um, but just because the loss offset is not possible at all, even at transaction to transaction level, which means, let's say, if you make 1 lakh rupees on day one by by buying and selling Bitcoin, and next, let's say next day you lose 2 lakh rupees for argument's sake. So the 2 lakh rupees will get nullified as far as the taxation is concerned, which means it will be zeroed out. And for the 1 lakh, you still have to pay 30%, which means even though you lost 1 lakh in total for both transactions combined, you still have to pay income tax. So in this particular case, yeah, I mean, it is like not the normal. That is not how it's supposed to be. Income should always means, I mean, profit is possible and loss is also possible. But right now, that is what we have, right? So eventually, it should get amended. I strongly believe it should get amended. But for the particular year that just passed, it's so what the rule applicable is, you cannot take the loss offset. Okay, so you have to somehow come up with he has to somehow come up with the profits that he has done and pay the taxes, and just hope that the exchange won't come online tomorrow and provide the statement, which is looking very different, right? So it actually makes it tricky. So another thing I have to quickly highlight here is that see, it's not only the technology and does even the people who assess the taxes, even the technology they use, everything is getting updated, right? So to an extent that if whatever we get away with today without paying the taxes because information is not properly available or whatnot, say in about 2 years, 3 years, 5 years time, this definitely again comes back. Because see, at one point of time when not enough technology was available, the taxation departments were only targeting multimillionaires or big politicians or celebrities, etc. Now it's not so. It has gone to an extent that even a normal employee would get a notice. He still have to go show his pay slips and show his income and give the required explanation and come. So either he gets it randomly or for what reason is next question. But even he's getting it, even she is getting it, right? So it has gone down to that extent where if the calculations and everything is done, it's good, right? So if not, maybe this year it may get neglected, but in some time when more information is available to the government, they definitely go to an extent where those particular trades and the profits that was done plus interest for those taxes and plus penalty for those taxes, so all of that will come, which could actually be like a huge shock. So better whatever to be paid will be paid, and unfortunately you can not take the advantage of losses yet. But that was the year where these rules are there and we just follow.
Yeah. So I think Akash, you can totally take this advice and you can work maybe with the exchange to get your account recovered. I think if that's a
At least
possibility
the statement should be recovered somehow. Taxation. I mean
Yes.
the statement of debits and credits and trades, whatever has happened, should somehow be recovered, right? So and now moreover, maybe what if all the money he had was in exchange itself and he didn't have money in his bank account? Now where will he bring the money to pay the taxes?
Exactly.
It's tricky. Yeah.
So here I see, Sathvik, a few of our users are facing some issue with their Unocoin account. So I request you all, those of you who are facing issues with your Unocoin account, maybe now or maybe in future, you can simply contact our customer support number, or you can write to us at support@unocoin, and I'm sure you'll get the solution. I think in 24 hours or 48 hours of working hours.
Usually it will happen in 24, in less than 24 itself, unless we have way too many tickets, right? So,
Yeah.
but you have the mobile number, phone number
Yes.
as well to contact
Yes.
for just emergency reasons. So we definitely can help as soon as we get the.
So I think that's great. Our team from backend has also given you the number and the email ID. You can click on that and register your complaint, or you can find the same details in your Unocoin application itself. Now moving up to next question, Sathvik. Here, Sladen is asking a very interesting question over here. He's asking, how does the taxation work for rewards received from DeFi LP farming?
No, I mean here I would still not consider that reward to be falling under this 30% slab directly, because it is like profit from other sources, profit from other something else, or maybe that is his primary income also. So that should fall into the slabs, as far as my understanding is concerned. Yeah. So that should fall into the slab of 5, 10, 20, 30%, whatever that exists, and based upon that he has to do his taxes. But here you have to remember that, let's say you got some crypto because of the farming, or because of staking, right? So when you get that particular crypto, when it gets released to you or when it gets accounted for you, that is one event. So that will actually become the income from other sources or any other, which goes into the slabs of income tax. But now let's say after some time you sell it, right? So within that time of you getting it and you selling it, if there is a profit, that profit actually falls under 30% slab directly. So you have to, it's two different transactions. So you have to keep track of both of them. So they both fall under different sections of the income tax.
Okay. Now, here is Dr. Hiren. Dr. Hiren is asking, in cost of acquisition, can we reduce trading fee from buy rate to calculate the profit?
Transaction fees cannot be reduced, because
It
that's
cannot
what
be reduced.
it says. You only can take the your only expense can be the cost rate.
Cost rate.
Yeah. So which means the transaction fees is kind of write off. Okay. So, and it also cannot be a loss that you show along with other profits. So what I mean is, let's say I buy some Bitcoin today and I sell it, right? So I get some profit. That's good. So I pay 30% tax for it. In this section, I cannot take the advantage of the transaction fees. But I also have, let's say, normal trading activity. Like let's say I'm buying some mattress and selling them, or I'm getting employee benefit. An employee, I'm getting salaries. So you cannot actually say this fees as well as an expense that you want to cover as loss in that also. That is also not possible. So it is the fees is a pure write-off.
Okay. So that was the question, and that was the answer to your question, Dr. Hiren. Next, we have Vedat Kumar again. So he's asking, would cancel transaction be valid to avoid the custodial fee?
No.
No.
So if there is a part of the transaction that actually got executed, that's well and good. But a cancel transaction is not a method to avoid the thing.
Okay.
I would say the easiest, cheapest way is maybe apply for SIP, SPP, which is the
Yes.
systematic buying plan, that is available just for 10 rupees per day, right? So even if it is enabled for one day for 10 rupees, it will still avoid the custody fees.
Transaction.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I mean the idea here is to have the customer active on the platform. So as long as he's using the custody service for actually doing the trade or actually doing some transaction, we are fine, right? If not, if they are using us just for custodying purpose only for that month, the custody fees get charged.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay. Then we have Vedat Kumar again, of course. So he's asking, if there's a custodial charge, then it would be removed, or at least time period should be extended from 1 month to 6 months. So he's requesting if that's a possibility, if he could just, make it.
No, I mean,
1
see,
month.
we have started with by having this charged every month, right? So going forward, there could be some amendments which we cannot tell today, right? But like I said, I mean, like the customers can even simply put 10 rupees for SBP
SVP.
for at a monthly frequency also, literally, right? So all that is happening is 10 rupees worth of Bitcoin or Ether is being bought per month, and it will become an active trader. So now we understand that you are using the wallet service or custody service that we provide for the purpose of trading, and our system will automatically skip that for recovering when it is charging the custody fees, right? So even if I do it for 1 year or 1 month or 15 days or daily, it'll still have to be like I'll have to see my expenses to maintain those accounts and still charge it accordingly.
Okay. So I think the easiest and the most simplest way is SBP to
Yeah, I
deal
think
with
so
it
as
if
well.
we are not,
So
an active trader.
yeah, even if you forget, even like whatever happens, it just like buys 10 rupees worth of crypto, and you're just happy.
And I think SBP is one of the most unique feature that our app has, because literally for me, I feel like, oh, I don't even have to worry about a dip or maybe a bull run starting or something like that. It'll just buy on the decided time period, and then if the price is low, there's a dip, small dip maybe, then too it's my profit, and later on as well I'll get more
Yeah,
profit.
I
So
think the lot of features that we provide on our app are making our customers lazy. So if you see it that way, in fact, this SBP that we introduced in 2000, later part of 2014 or maybe sorry, earlier part of 2015, we were the first company in the world to do it for crypto.
Mhm.
Yeah, so no one had it. I mean, even I think Coinbase started about 2-3 years ago. So we ours, I mean, that program is only since 8+ years. And
Oh.
so can you imagine?
I think it's pretty interesting how we are coming up with these new things, and how can they actually benefit the users, because as we see in India, not everyone is having that level of, I would not say crypto knowledge, but financial knowledge per se.
Mhm.
Because talking about investments in the general market as well, a lot of people would go for a broker rather than doing it themselves and just fetching the profits like that. So I think SBP is a great solution to this
Yeah,
custodial
it
fee.
helps them to in a systematic manner, right? So whatever they have committed, it just happens automatically without bothering them, right? So yeah, I mean, lot of the customers who have activated SVP on Unocoin, a lot of them are like employees
Oh.
of various companies, right? So their idea is to say buy it once monthly, and they usually have this setting because we give the settings where they can do which day or which date of the month they want to buy crypto. They usually choose like 8th or 9th or 10th, because once they get the salary, the first few things they have to do is pay to their
Pay the liabilities,
rent
yes.
and the credit cards and everything. And yeah, this also they'll just deposit some money to Unocoin, so which will actually execute the cycle for them on that 8th, 9th, or 10th, whatever they have put. So now that you're doing that consistently, it is a kind of you get into that habit of investing or saving, right?
Yes.
So it is just like how you pay rent, how you pay electricity bill, you buy some Bitcoin as well. So that's a kind of systematic method
Of
that
approaching the saving
someone
part.
would so someone would take and just go with it. So just make sure that it has to be done, kind of thing. There is no compulsory, right? So at the end, if you don't have money in the Unocoin account, it will skip. It's not by SPP. I mean, the SPP will not run for them. But they make it a point to make sure that it runs, right? So yeah.
I think it's a lot similar to the employee provident fund, where each month something is getting saved in our employee provident account and everything. So it's a very good thing to utilize. I think the interest would be not interest, but return can vary, depending on the volatility, and the gains can be great at times.
Mhm.
So here we have Lalit. Lalit is asking, how do I pay 30% tax on my profit of crypto? He's asking the exact method to
Yeah.
pay.
So once you have calculated your profits, and this time when the forms for filing the income taxes do come out, your auditors would start seeing that as a part of section when crypto was bought, when it was sold, what profit was made, etc. So that should actually be filled up, and eventually that will show how much is the total profit that was obtained, and for that particular profit, it should be added to the rest of the income taxes that you are already paying, and all of it should be paid as income tax to the government. So and you can take the input of TDS, because if in case if the TDS already deducted. So TDS not only comes because of the crypto, even if you're an employee, the TDS will already be going from your salary. If it is more than 7 lakhs, or some limit is there. Beyond that, yeah, the TDS already getting cut, and it is being paid to the government. And if there is transactions in land or any kind of fixed assets, there are some, and there is something called TCS as well. So if you're buying a car, so that actually triggers. So there are a lot of reasons where the TCS and TDS happens, Yeah, you should one should be able to take that all should be visible as soon as they try to file the income taxes. Then the difference only gets paid to be paid.
Okay, so that was the answer to your question, Lalit. And Sathvik, moving forward, I have this little off the topic question, which of course kind of interests everyone here, given the government's recent PMLA, regulation that they introduced and everything. But I think we can take this question after a quick 30-second break. So, guys, do not go anywhere. We'll be back right in 30 seconds. So, stay tuned. Okay, so once again, welcome back, guys, to Unocoin's AMA session, which is Ask Me Anything. We were currently in discussion about the Indian crypto taxation policy, and we also touched the topic of custodial fee, which is a lot of, I think, a concern for a lot of you. Here we have a couple of comments from Vedart. Vedant Kumar is saying, "Oh, that's a compliment for me, actually." Thank you, ma'am. Your brain with beauty. Thank you so much, Vedant. And he's also thanking you. Thank you, Sathvik. So it's a pleasure having people like you on our AMA who make it more interesting. Sathvik, next up, of course, we're going to touch to one of the questions that I had, which was quite off the topic. But let's just see one of the interesting questions here by P. Rama, which we get in almost AMA, which is what happens if you don't pay the taxes?
That's actually, um, like let's say if you do any crime and the chances of getting away, yes, there is some chance, right? But there is chances that you get caught as well. So it depends upon whether you want to make sure you become a law-abiding citizen or not. So as per the law, yes, you have to pay the income taxes. So like I was saying, the taxation departments are only getting stronger and stronger day by day. So it's unlikely someone can completely get away without paying taxes forever, right? So or else he or she will be like a very normal basic person with 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs of income, whatever they're getting, and beyond that they just cannot even go beyond it. So if they want to say if they want to become or if they want to buy some land or a home or try to construct a better life, having a good tax returns and file
Yes.
is very important, right? So else one cannot dream big. That's a tricky part of it. And on the other side, because there is no slabs for crypto transactions, crypto profits, and even the first 1 rupee that gets earned, 30 paisa has to be paid, right? So yeah, so because of that rule, and now all of the data is extremely easily available at exchanges, right?
Yes.
So it could be Indian, it could be international. So given that it actually will be easily available, and these exchanges, most of them, or at least the Indian ones, definitely have the KYC of the customer, at least the PAN card or even the bank account details and such. So all of those things do get linked. right? So it's unlikely someone can earn and become a successful person without paying taxes forever, right? So my recommendation is always pay taxes, but if you get away this particular year, maybe you just got a little lucky, but in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, it can definitely haunt you with the interest and penalties, which will be like way, way, way bigger.
Yes. So please. Okay, where did that go? Okay. So, P. Rama, please make sure that you file your taxes, because not just crypto, if you are trying to skip any taxes, your income tax or whatever tax that you're supposed to pay, basically that's going to be a problem for you in future, as we have already seen so many raids in the past few months. And those are basically for the big names, but yeah, it won't take much time for them to come to the normal public as well. So just make sure that you're being a responsible citizen and that you're filing your taxes on time to just stay out of any trouble that might come your way. Next, okay. Anjali, I saw your question, but I think, like I said, you need to contact our customer support team or write to us on support@unocoin.com. That's the only way that you can get a solution to your problem. Maybe try and explaining your problem in a better way. Maybe try and explaining it more, in detail. That will help, I'm sure. Okay. Next, we have a question from Sandeep Deshmukh, Sathvik.
Mhm.
Here he is asking, sir, income tax issued notice and demanded of 25 lakh for FY 2017 and 18. I purchased only 1 lakh of Bitcoin from CoinShore exchange, but that exchange is hacked and closed in 2018.
No, I mean, if they have, give me one second. So let me call you back in 20 minutes, sir. I'll call you back. Yeah, sorry. So if that exchange itself was got shut down, that's actually a tricky thing, because then you cannot properly prove what was bought and what was done, right? So, but I think even if you have got the notice, it does not mean you definitely have to pay it. You can contest against it, right? So, and usually when that kind of notice comes up, there will also be a calculation or some kind of write up of why
Yes.
25 lakhs is 25 lakhs, right? So it's not something else. So there is a definite possibility that you have that information, and an auditor should be able to interpret it to say that, okay, this is the reason why you got it. If it says it's because of a penalty, it will say it's penalty. If it is because of interest, it will say it. So it's not like a random number. So no one gives a random number saying, okay, if I am the tax department, I'll don't give it through a random number. So I'll give the explanation of, okay, so this much was supposed to be paid at this point of time. Since then, it is like 6 years, and I'm charging at 1.5% or 2% per month. And so because of that, this is so much, and because of penalty, it is so much. So because of all of this combined, it's finally whatever it is. So this kind of explanation will definitely be there. Without that, you definitely should not be paying that kind of
Yes.
random income tax payments. And just so you know, because we are at the topic, uh, even we have heard of stories where some random income tax notice comes, and it also has a specific account details, and that is actually not of the income tax at all.
Okay.
So people think that, okay, I was supposed to pay 3 lakh rupees. Now this notice is only asking for 1.5 or 1.8. Maybe I better pay it so that be done with it,
Yes.
right? So there sometimes they give saying that one-time settlement offer, there will be one more. So all of those things happen. Don't please don't become scam due to these things. It's better you pay some attention and check properly what you are trying to do. If it has to be paid, it has to be paid. Else, it definitely can be. If you think it should not be paid, no matter what, then it can be contested. And a lot of times, the moment you contest, there will be usually be a human on the department side, income tax side, who will again recheck if there is some calculation that has gone wrong. Because when you contest it, you'll also give explanation. I had this particular exchange. I'd only bought 1 lakh worth of Bitcoin, and this is the only thing I got, and that got hacked, so I lost that money as well. And there is nothing. I have not got any kind of profit. So once you give that particular explanation, and if they have a proof against your explanation, they may charge you more. I mean, they may still ask you saying that whatever we ask you is still correct, or else they will do the amendment and send it to you. So then you can pay the taxes.
So here he has added to his comment saying that they have given a figure of 20 lakh of purchase of Bitcoin to income tax department, but not given the ledger statement. I replied to income tax department along with email transactions and bank account of total purchases of 1 lakh. Sir, what is the solution if broken denied to give ledger statement? Broker, I think he means.
I mean, broker in the sense, I think it's an international exchange. That's what he is probably referring to as broker. It's tricky, right? So, but if he has given some kind of proof to the department, uh, better this customer also obtains that a copy of that. They can ask for it. Sometimes they may not share because they have their own restrictions of what can be, what cannot be. But if you say that, look, I want to have a look. If you can allow me to have a look what exactly has happened, then you will at least be able to understand what has happened, right?
Yes.
So they do show it most of times, at least to build confidence in you that they actually have the proof. So they do it, right? So once you have it, you should understand like whatever buying and selling you're done. And the good way again here is when you actually send the money through your bank account, so you can actually sell it when you can actually tell about how much you sent out. So you might have used the same money to buy sell few times, and all of that buys combined can be 20 lakhs, but you might have only sent 1 lakh outside your bank account. So that's one way of telling. Right. So as much as possible, obtain the proofs and be calm, cool. You may be invited to the income tax department to give an explanation. So definitely taking the auditor with you helps, who knows what transactions you have done. Uh, and this is not a problem that you alone would be facing. There are so many international exchanges which got shut down within the last 2-3 years. The one that I see that PAX will also, I think way too many of Indians were involved around point of the time for doing crypto with the peer-to-peer transactions. So they all should obtain the statements and keep it, right? So else it will be the same problem, right? So having the statements is like mandatory. And once you have it, you do your calculation and pay it. And if it's still wrong, then you go and talk to them, contestant, and you can talk to them. Yeah.
I think that would be the best solution to your problem, Sandeep. And of course, we understand this has happened with a lot of people, and it is actually quite troublesome. But I'm sure the authorities are going to help you with the
Yeah,
best of their
they should
capacities.
understand. They should be able to understand,
Yes.
right? So they will go to the same website. The website don't exist. Then you will say that the money has not come back to the account at all, which means that maybe you lost the money or the crypto was lost. So now, if you still have the profits, whatever, which is beyond the money you're paid, which then you calculate your taxes, etc. But yeah, whenever you do transactions, I mean, in Unocoin, you can actually even get an invoice, right? So whenever someone buy Bitcoin, Ether, etc. So that's like a document where you have your fees mentioned, you have GST and everything mentioned, etc. as well, and having those as well will help. And yearly once they should just take a statement and hold it for the records. I mean, you just never know what could go wrong. Yeah.
True, 100%. And I think that is one of the another good reasons why we should be very careful about which exchange are we, using to store our crypto or buy crypto. Because yeah, when I look at the history and when I study things around how things have been not just in India but all across the world, I see this need where I know a lot of you are concerned about the custodial fee part, but I think that is for their own crypto security, what is being stored on our exchange.
Part of it.
So you should always be, not like overtly negative about something is happening, but try and understand the positive perspective or why is something being done when it's being done. So
And if something is completely provided free of cost to you, then they are recovering it in some other form. It is just true, even if you see, Google or Facebook or any big company, small companies, whatever it is, right? So no company would put all of their own money to provide a specific service, which actually costs a lot of money, and never use it for their own benefit, right? So in fact, we have done it for about like 9.5 years already. So, but yeah, it is a point where we are required to put, because those costs are too high on for us to take it ourselves. So this also means that a lot of other companies who are still taking it, they have their own ways, or maybe they still have money to spend for some time. But yeah, so it's like people should keep it in mind.
Yeah, definitely. So, guys, I think just be an active trader or start with SBP. That would be the best solution to your custodial fee problems. Now, moving on to the next question, Sathvik. Here, Ritesh Athikari is asking, I have connected an exchange with a bot which keeps trading according to my present strategy. Should I submit my whole buy and sell details while filing income tax in India or only summary?
You will be required to submit all of it, because I've seen the form that they are giving, that the income tax will be providing for people to fill it up. So that literally goes one trade at a time. And I don't know if you have like a million trades, how do you do it? It's maybe they will allow you to submit a Excel file or something like that. But yeah, it's as of today, they say it is required to submit each and every transaction, because you cannot say this made profits, this made losses, all of that combined, this was the profit. That's not the way, right? So they literally want to see individual ones, and losses are actually taken off without even giving any credit or anything, and the profits are being added for calculating the taxes and such. So my understanding is that he will be required to submit all of each and every individual successful trade has to be submitted. Yes.
Okay. So you'll have to do the full, data part and collecting it, and oh my god.
No, generally all the platforms will give you an ability to download it in Excel file format, CSV format, right? So you just download it and put into an Excel, like copy paste it, or open it using Microsoft Excel or something like that. You should be able to see it. So okay, I mean, like, let us wait for the proper tools that the government provides us. If they say like, okay, connect the exchanges here, click this button, enter your username, password, OTP, connect it, and we will check it ourselves. It's the best thing, right?
Yeah.
So let them do all the calculation and show the income tax you pay and say, see, but they don't do that, because the calculation of the income tax is the responsibility of people. It is not the responsibility of the government. If it is less, the government can ask, but calculation is not done by the government first time. If it is wrong, they will do the right calculation for you.
Yes.
It's like tricky, yeah, I know.
And when I hear the word Excel, my eyes just start, glimmering, because Excel is like, oh my god, too much work. Okay, so now Satvik, I'm gonna ask my question, which I've had in my mind since our users are, I think, almost done with their questions. Satvik, ever since this PMLA thing came, and then there was this crypto taxation last year, this year we were hoping that there's going to be some sort of relief on the 30% tax thing, but it wasn't there. So it somehow makes me question, what is the positivity, negativity status of the government's perspective towards crypto on a scale of 1 to 10? Because I just can't figure this out. At times they are, involving exchanges as a part of PMLA, which is Prevention of Money Laundering Act, by the way, for the people who don't know it yet. So they're making crypto exchanges, or the businesses that are involved in crypto, an entity per se to report to them if anything goes wrong, any malpractices or as such. Now this is one sort of recognition. Then there is of course no relief on the taxes. So what do we conclude from this?
See, right now, whatever about everything that the government has done is one-sided, right? So it's in their own favor. So I have actually not seen anything that they have done as far as crypto industry is concerned, where it is helping the crypto
general
industry.
public.
Yeah, the general public, right? So it could be 30% taxes, it could be 1% TDS, and the PMLA as well, right? So what used to happen is, let's say if there is some kind of suspicious transactions, suspicious activity that exists on a platform, the platform did not have a mechanism to report it, and neither it had an obligation to report it. But when the actual fraud becomes bigger, and it goes to say cybercrime and such, so at that time we can tell that we knew, but we didn't have a method to report, right? So this is to help people avoid, or help the government to identify the crimes sooner. So we will put it that way, right? So maybe indirectly it's helping people as well, because the crime rate could decrease, right?
Decrease,
So
yes.
and these things already exist for banks since forever, the particular thing.
Yeah.
So these are called reporting entities, right? So they have an obligation to report if they see anything different from normal. And when it say anything different from normal, it is not like total discretion of someone who is looking at it and whether it's normal or not. There is a rules for it. So that specifically says if particular IP address is logging into different accounts, let's say 10 accounts in 5 minutes, or same amount of money being deposited or withdrawn multiple times through multiple. So that like that, there will be lot of patterns that the financial intelligence unit have recognized, and that they will be available for these reporting entities. So now we are also one of the reporting entity now, right? So we will have to keep checking for those kinds of triggers, and if there is any trigger, actually report it to I mean, we have a portal through which we will have to report, and that's exactly how every bank also is supposed to do. So before this, we used to say yes, it's actually self-regulation. That's why we are doing KYC documentation. So that's why we want people to submit their Aadhaar card, passport, and the PAN card, etc. So that some users always felt like, look, you don't need to do this because the money is coming from payment, is coming from bank anyway, right? At that time, our only thing was, look, we are not too clear as well, but we only want to provide services to customers whom we know. Else, we don't want to. So we had to take that kind of stance to say that we don't want to provide services to customers who don't abide by our self regulation. But right now, it's no more self regulation. It's actually an obligation.
Exactly.
So if we are not doing it, we actually get fined by the government. Let's say if they ask, okay, this particular transaction has happened by this particular customer, give the KYC. If I don't have that KYC documents for whatever reason, if I've lost it, we'll get fined for it, right? So it is the actual serious thing, right? So it's very similar to how, for example, why banks are behind you for all re-KYC. They get behind to such an extent that you have to just get it done no matter what, like
Yes.
periodically. I mean, depending upon the transaction size, once in 3 years or 2 years or 1 year, right? So depending upon the transaction size, they do it. So it will be say very similar with crypto exchanges also, right? Depending upon the transactions, the re-KYC will actually have to be taken. So till now, none of the crypto exchanges in India have seen taking re-KYC. The only extra thing they have done after a particular point of time, depending upon transaction, is take declarations. So where are you getting this money from? What is the source of income?
Yes.
Or if you can provide any documentation supporting the source of income. So those kinds of extra documents was asked, but now it will now go back to doing the re-KYC of people. So including maybe sometimes video KYC. So it's very similar to how banks does everything. It's not like just put OTP and other cards done. It's not like that anymore. It's actually a serious thing. It will be exactly same tedious thing for us as crypto exchanges to onboard customers as well. But it's happening for good, right? So
Yes.
we just know who is trading with us. So they are serious and we are serious, and it just keeps the industry cleaner.
I think that is something that is required with the crypto industry, especially in India, because people in India are super jugadu. They're going to find one way or another to, you know, uh, and
It's a
this is
race.
also
It's a race. Who can be more? So if we can get ahead of them, or they can get ahead of us. But yeah.
true that, true that. And I think not just in crypto, Indian people are so jagadu, they just try doing things with cash, they'll try doing things with other methods of payment, whatever they can come across. So I think, yeah, that's a great initiative, given that all the
Mhm.
recent ED raids and everything that happened,
So
and
it's cleaning up. It's
yeah,
cleaning
it's
up.
just cleaning up, and it
So
would
I
be
think
better.
I
Yeah.
think now that there is a lot of things that the government is taking advantage of the industry. I think it may be time for them to give back. So let's see.
Possibly,
Let's see
yeah.
how what support we can get, etc. And it may not again be this year. Maybe it's next year. We don't know. So 1 year is a lot of time for crypto industry, right?
Yes.
Because things change overnight.
Yeah,
Once a week, once a
exactly.
month is already
Yeah.
late. But for the governments, any small thing will be here.
Yeah, that is the least I think we can expect from them, given the current scenario and the current growth rate of crypto in India. Like, I see so many people, they're so intrigued about all these things that they want to learn about it. But just that, I think if our government supports it the way they started supporting the banks in the initial days, when people were not trusting, a third party to store their money, their
Yeah, sure.
income, hard-earned money, and all of that. I think it's just that kind of support that the industry needs from the government in terms of blockchain as well, I think.
Yeah.
given the benefits that it has.
So people will take their decision of how they want to diversify their portfolio.
Yes.
So some people have identified that a part of the portfolio can take this risk of being exposing it to crypto.
Yes.
So yeah, we are there to service them. That's as simple as that.
Absolutely. So I think this
We really need to work hard. This wasn't a good quarter. Tell me, are you happy with this? Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. There was a bit of a technical glitch, so we were gonna take this last question. So, Sathvik, the maker, is asking, I transferred my Bitcoin in Trezor wallet. Is there any tax liability? So, I think he means
No.
that he just
No, if you
transferred.
have transferred it from, let's say, your own Unocoin account to your own Trezor, there is no tax liability for that transaction. It's not a transaction. It is
It's
just
basically
like
transfer from
yeah,
one.
transfer of
like,
it's like
yeah.
you having money in one bank account. Let's say State
another.
Bank of India, and you send it to another account in ICICI. But if both of them are belonging to same person, that's not a taxable activity.
not a
But if you're sending it to someone else, then it will be matter of why you are sending it. If there is a profit for them, was it a gift for them? So why it was a loan for them? So those things will come up. So here it's same account, I mean same person. There should not be any liability. But if you have done some transactions before that to eventually get this crypto, and then crypto is transferred, for those transactions, yeah, it could be liable. But as far as the transfer is concerned, no, it's not.
Yeah. So I think this is one of the interesting things where holding crypto doesn't have taxes. As long as you're holding whatever crypto you have, rather than I think exchanging it with INR or some currency, it's non-taxable till
See,
that time.
if you are just holding something for the year long and decade long or whatever, you actually don't pay income tax. You only pay custodial fees. Okay, good
No,
one.
I think this is all for the EMA and a very nice way to end it. Actually, you will pay custodial fees if you're gonna hold it for a very
But
long
yeah,
time.
Trezor is a good one. Trezor or wherever he has moved it, it should at least avoid the fees. But also just know that when you are moving it to Trezor and then at some other time moving it back from Trezor to your platform to do the transaction, even those there is blockchain fees that gets involved, right? So sometimes it is like 0.0005, which means for doing those two transactions, you are actually losing about 10 months worth of custodial fees by itself. So instead, yeah, if it is a small and bigger amount, I totally agree, right? So it's like, and if it is a smaller one, like let's say 25,000 rupees worth of Bitcoin or something like that. So the better way to avoid custodial fees is actually be active. Yeah. So just put some SIP and the SPP or something like that. Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, so I think, guys, this will be all for today's AMA. Thank you so much, Sathvik. It was really amazing knowing about the custodial fee thing, why it is there, and everything else. Because, of course, I think it was a good solution for a lot of our upset customers.
Sure.
And of course, regarding the taxation, we get a lot of questions every time, and I hope we kind of helped you understand the concept better. But even still, if you have any questions, you can just drop a comment after this. Maybe AMA or something, our team can reply back to your queries because there are a lot of queries all the time. So
Sure.
thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you so much, Sathvik, for answering
you.
all the questions. This was a great session overall.
Thank you, Erin, for joining this. Thank you.